If you guys have tuned into my channel, whether it be from lives, videos, whatever it is, you guys know I have an affliction for Parfums De Marly, an introductory niche house that makes some of the best summer and spring and fall and wintertime fragrances, which you know are my favorite, the fall and winter ones, whether it's Layton, Oajan, or whatnot. Well, I finally picked up a bottle of this. The first time I tried it, I wasn't a big fan, but in this video, I'm going to be reviewing Parfums De Marly Herod or Herod. And so without further ado, let's get it. Alright my dudes, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka FragranceDoud, back with another fragrance video. And again, today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite niche fragrances from one of my favorite niche houses, and that is Parfums De Marly. And the one we're going to be discussing is Parfums De Marly Herod or Herod. I'm going to be calling it by Herod because that's what I know it by. But I know a lot of you guys call it Herod, so that's totally fine. But over the last 7 months, if you've been following my channel, prior to my channel, I didn't know much about niche. I had Tobacco Vanille, I had Aventus. That was pretty much the gist of what I knew about niche fragrances. I'm still, even to this day, more into designers, but I'm getting further into niche. I think I've tested about 120 at this point. And to this point, Parfums De Marly is still my favorite niche house because they are the more mass appealing designer-esque niche house, whether it be their summer fragrances and spring fragrances like Sedley, Percival, Greenlee, or their fall and winter fragrances, which you know fall and winter fragrances are near and dear to my heart. They have some of the best like Layton, Oajan, and now Herod. So I'm one of those kind of people that if I'm going to buy a niche fragrance, I'm going to test it out. And I go crazy and a little bit OCD with my testing. Sedley, I tested out for 3 months. I have 80 milliliters of decants of Layton. And I tested this one out for 2 months. I got 3 different decants, one from Hamzat, one from somebody else, and then I bought one myself. So now I'm going to be testing out Herod, or Herod. I said I'm going to be calling it Herod, then I call it Herod. But before I do, I'm going to spray it on this beat up tester that I've been squeezing in my hand for the last 5 minutes. And I'm going to give you the main notes that is in Herod. So the main notes are cinnamon, vanilla, tobacco, musk, cedar, and incense. It's advertised as a tobacco, vanilla, warm, and spicy fragrance. There's also some pepper in the opening as well. So as far as Herod, the fragrance itself, when I first sprayed it on a long time ago, like 3-4 months ago, I remember smelling it and saying, this smells almost exactly like Oajan. I don't know what the heck is going on. And then I realized that Hamzat, one of my subscribers, sent me Oajan and Herod. And so I didn't get back to smelling Herod for about a month because I was like, that's redundant. I'm not smelling it. But I must have had Oajan oils on my nose, or it's just because I just smelled it prior to that, because it doesn't smell like Oajan. I mean, it has that sweetness in there, but it's a completely different type of sweetness. But with that said, as soon as I went back to it, I was like, what was I thinking? This is amazing. And I've been testing it out since. Finally bought a bottle for $150 on e-discount perfumes. And that is a great price because it's normally like retail like $300. So when you first spray this on, even though it's a tobacco fragrance, the tobacco is way, way, way deep in the background. It's more warm and spicy with a little touch of sweetness underneath, with a little bit of tobacco underneath. You get that cinnamon, you get that pepper. The pepper is really the main note in the opening. And then you also do get some of that incense coming in, but the incense never really plays a big role. And that pepper and that cinnamon stay there for pretty much the bulk of the fragrance. But the black pepper is going to be there, and then it's going to, after about 5 minutes, settle down a bit. My favorite part of this fragrance is after about 5 minutes, the opening 5 minutes. While it's still nice, it's just a little bit spicy, and well, it's overly spicy for me, but I do still like it. So right now, if I smelled this, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm going to buy it, blah, blah, blah. But in about 2 or 3 minutes, it just automatically, it settles down. That tobacco, the whole full amount of the fragrance that you're waiting for really comes in. That sweet tobacco pulls up. It's like a nice dry tobacco that has a sweetness to it. Really, really, really nice. And then you have this vanilla undertone that was providing that sweetness. That pulls up as well. and then you get that spice, that cinnamon. The cinnamon stays there, and then the pepper dials down a bit, so you get like a cinnamon creamy vanilla mixture mixed with that tobacco, and it's beautiful. And not only is it, yeah, right now it's starting to settle down on the strip, and it's so good. I just smelled it the first time, and I was like, yeah, that's too spicy, and now I'm like, wow, that's so good. And what's crazy is that I find this to be a little bit more of a mature fragrance, maybe like 25 and older. But my daughter, who's like 12 years old, she gets off the bus every day when I'm wearing this, and she goes, "What are you wearing? That is fantastic." And so she loves the dry down. She does not like the opening. My wife is the same. She does not like the opening few minutes, but she loves the fragrance itself. That vanilla cinnamon mixture, along with a little bit of woods that you get in the base, mixed with that beautiful sweet tobacco, just really comes across so nice. A lot of people say this is like Parfums De Marly's version of Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. I completely disagree. I think that they did a really nice job doing what they did with the vanilla and the tobacco. And while it does have certain aspects of that tobacco and vanilla, it also does have some different types of spice in there, a little bit of a different sweetness, a different amount of creamy feel. So this fragrance really comes off nice. If you like sweet fragrances and you like tobacco fragrances, but you don't like overly mature fragrances, this is going to be the one that you're going to want to try out. I would definitely recommend to test it first because it is not for everybody. But again, when you do test it, do not go off the opening 3, 4, 5 minutes because it does settle down to a beautiful sweet fragrance. The easiest way to just really navigate around this fragrance is, again, it has a little bit of a sweetness with a vanilla and tobacco. Really dial down the opening with that spice, that pepper, that cinnamon, and then you dry it down, and as it dries down, it really completely changes into a soft, warm vanilla tobacco fragrance that has some cinnamon and spices really flowing throughout the fragrance. There is some musks that really pull up in the base as well, but they're really just more supporting notes to really provide a nice push for that creaminess and that softness, to get that softness out while not really being overly cloying or anything like that. That's what I love about this fragrance, and especially I'm going to talk about the performance now, because talking about the push. So in the opening, you get above average because it's spicy. It does push out a bit. Once it gets to that 3, 4, 5 minute where it starts to smoothen out, it turns into more of a moderate scent, and it stays moderate for about 4 hours while lasting for about 8. Some people say they get 6, some people say they get 10. I get in the middle around 8, and it's supposed to be worn in the cool weather, and it does eat through the cool very nice. Again, it's soft, it's smooth, it's sensual. It's a nice cuddling fragrance. It's a nice night out fragrance. Really beautiful overall. If you like the sweet cinnamon, the sweet vanillas, the little bit of musks, along with a little bit of woods from that cedar, then this is going to be the type of fragrance that you're going to like. It has a little bit of a smoky feel in the opening as well, and then it also has a little bit in the dry down, but that really goes away, and it's really a nuance of a fragrance note that you don't really have to pay attention to. So if you don't like smoke, don't worry about that incense or the vetiver. It doesn't really come off a full smoky fragrance. So overall, I'm not going to beat around the bush anymore. This is a sweet tobacco vanilla spice fragrance. Has extra spice in the opening, has some woods in the dry down and some musk, but overall, after 5 minutes, it's a calming cinnamon, vanilla, tobacco, woods fragrance. Beautiful. I think, again, this is going to be my number 1 or 2 in the line. At first, I thought maybe it would be Oajan, Layton, Herod, but now I think it's like all 3 of them could be 1, 2, or 3. It depends on what my mood is. This is more going to be better for fall, but I could also see it being worn in winter and early spring where I live. So other than that, it's not office safe or anything like that, at least in my opinion. I know some people wear some crazy fragrances to the office. Just a great date night fragrance. You can wear it during the day in the cooler months depending on where you live as well. I'm wearing it today, so awesome. So thank you guys very much. Let me know in the comments what you think about Herod, where you would rank it among the Parfums De Marly fragrances. If you own it, if you like it, if you want to know any more about it, let me know in the comments, and I'll be back with another video. Thanks a lot, guys, and you have a great day. Peace.